This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, Deba, Dinesh, Pushpak, Taruni. Thank you for joining. Can you hear me? Please confirm. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. So today we are discussing about one of the most interesting and important topic called as volume, Docker volume. What is volume, and why should we use volumes in Docker? All this let's try to understand in today's session. So let us start. Docker containers are ephemeral. Docker containers are ephemeral. What do you mean by ephemeral? Ephemeral is temporary. Okay, temporary. What does it mean by temporary? Let's say, for example, if the if the development team needs a Tomcat instance using Docker, within no time we can create a Tomcat container and give the details to the development team, isn't it? As Tomcat is running perfectly in container, you cannot use the Tomcat instance as a production environment. The infrastructure which is created using Docker, you should not use it for production. We will not use it for the production environment. So Docker is always about instantly providing the infrastructure so that the development team can do their R&D work on these instances. If that's fine, then we actually install the operations team will actually install the same infrastructure on the bare machine metal servers. So always Docker containers are temporary. So for temporary purpose, we provide them the container. Okay, development team will use those instances, containers. Now, when development team uses containers provided by us, let's say development team uses Tomcat container, they deploy some application in the Tomcat container and they do some activities. In such case, the data processed by the container should be permanent. They want some log files which are generated as part of deployment. So this kind of data they want it. When they use the infrastructure, sometimes that particular tool may generate some files, generate some log files. They want the data. That is very, very important to track it. Container maybe not a permanent, but the data processed inside the data inside the container, they may need it for future purpose. Generally, we know when a container is deleted, obviously the data inside the container is also lost. When you remove the container, everything is lost. Something like if you format the laptop, everything is lost, isn't it, in your laptop? In the same way, when you remove the container, whatever the files are which are generated inside the container, everything is lost. But the point is that team needs data to be preserved. Container, okay, we don't need, but the data, the log files or any other files which are generated, the machine generated files which are generated, we want to save those files. So to preserve the data, even after deleting the container, we use the concept of volumes. So we use volumes to save the data which is generated as part of using the containers. So today's session we'll see how can we attach a volume to the container, and how can we save the data and when you remove the container, how can we access the data inside the volume. All this we'll experiencing in our today's session. There are two types of volumes. Simple volumes are called as simple Docker volumes, and Docker volume containers. There are two types of volumes we as Docker provides. What is the difference? How to use it? Anyways, we'll be discussing in our coming examples. Any questions in understanding the concept of volumes? Why should we use volumes? To save the data. Okay. Okay. Let's see practicals. Let's discuss about the first type of volumes called as simple volumes. Simple Docker volumes are also called as simple volumes. These volumes are used only when we want to access the data. Obviously, volumes are especially used for accessing the data, even after the container is deleted, same concept. But this data cannot be shared with other containers. A data which is taken from one container, it cannot be processed to the other container. It is specific to one container. Those volumes are called as simple volumes, simple Docker volumes. So what is simple Docker volume? How can we create a volume? how can we use a volume? All this let us experience in our today's session. Okay. Let's connect to Docker host. Docker host is running. Copy. Okay. Connected to Docker host. I have connected to Docker host. Fine. Are there any existing containers? Docker container ls. What is the problem? Remember, when you're dealing with Dockers, as I told you, we need to work with hash prompt. Switching to hash prompt. There are no containers. Everything is empty now. Okay. So what I am doing, so this is Docker host. Fine. I want to create a directory under root /data. I want to create a directory. First step. Start CentOS as a container and attach that particular directory which we have created data as a volume. First, we are creating a directory, attaching that directory as a volume to the container. Next, what we'll do to experience the importance of volumes, create files on the mounted volumes inside the container, obviously. Next, we come out of the container, we delete the container, but still the file should be available. That's the concept, right? The point behind volumes is that even though you remove the container, that data should be preserved. Let us see how can we do that by using the concept of volumes. Step one, I want to create a directory. You know, mkdir is a command which is used to create a directory. I'm creating a directory with the name /data. Directory got created. Fine. Directory got created. Next, what's the next step? Please look at this. Understand this command. Docker run. What image I'm running? CentOS. What is CentOS? It's an operating system, is it? So the container gets created. What's the name of the container? Hyphen hyphen name option is used to provide the name of the container. We know that the name of the container which we have created is C1. Fine. IT interactive terminal. What happens? Container gets created. We have created a container, right? What's the name of the container? We are naming it as C1, and control will enter into the container. Am I right? Interactive terminal. The concept of interactive terminal is enter into a container. Hyphen V option is used to attach a volume. Hyphen V option is used to attach a volume. Which volume you want to attach it? The data folder which I have created, that I want to attach it as a volume. So hyphen V option is used to attach a volume to the container. So when I do this, what will happen? Container gets created. Volume gets attached into the container. Interactive terminal, what will happen? CentOS image not there. We know what happens. The CentOS image gets downloaded. Hmm? And we enter into the, are you getting IP address like this? No, we are not getting the IP address. That means my control entered into the container. Now my control is inside the container. Why? Because interactive terminal IT. Okay, so container gets created. Our control entered into the container. Next, what ls command will do? We know ls command will show a list of all the files and directories. We can see the data folder inside the container. ls, can you see the data? Yes, this is a volume, right, which we have attached as part when you're creating a container. Okay, I want to enter into the container, change directory, cd. I want to enter into that particular directory. I want to create some files. Touch command is used to create some files. I'm creating some files inside that particular data folder. Okay, file got created. 2 files have been created. Exit to come out of the container back to my Docker host. Exit to come out. So what I have done, I have created a container, attached a volume to that container. I have entered into the container. Inside the volume is nothing but which one? Data folder. I have created 2 files. Now I'm out of my container. Next, we already know this command. Docker inspect is a command. Docker inspect is a command to get more information about the container. I want to get more information about the container. I use it by using Docker inspect. You get more information about the container. In that information, there is something called mount path. I want to get more information about the container. Look at this. Yes, this is the more information about more information about this container. Under the you will find a mount path. That's very important. Look at this. Mount. This is the mount path. This is the mount, but take a note of the mount path. It's very, very important. You need to take a note of the mount path. Yes, I have taken it for my reference. Okay, so I'm copying the mount path. Fine. Okay. I want to remove the container. What I want to do? I want to remove the container. Do you remember what's the name of the container? Do you remember what's the name of the container? The name of the container is C1. Docker rm-f is used to remove the container from the file system. Everything is removed. Whatever we have created inside the container, everything is removed. Container is removed. But the point is, after deleting the container, let's go to that mount path which you have taken a note of it. cd, go to the mount path, ls to see list of all the files. Are you able to see file 1 and file 2? Are you able to see file 1 and file 2? Are you able to see the files? Yes. Where did you create these files? We have created these files by entering into that container, isn't it? We have entered into the container and created the files. The files which we have created inside the container are now able to accessible. They are able to accessible ls. Yes. Even after the container is deleted. Why? Because you have created the files inside the volume. You have created the files inside the volume. So concept of volume is whatever the data which you save inside the volume, that is permanent, that is accessible, even though after you remove the container. Clear about this? Any questions in understanding this concept of volumes? Dinesh, clear?
Sunil, I have a
Yes,
question here.
yes.
So this volume can be attached to how many containers?
What this volume which we are using it, okay,
Yes.
is first type of volume. There are 2 types of volumes, as I
Yes.
told you. Simple volumes, simple Docker volumes. So this can be attached to only one container.
Okay.
You cannot have one volume attached to 2 containers. So it's only one container. Okay.
Okay.
It's like a pen drive. You attach it to one laptop, right? So even though you format the laptop, the pen drive data is saved in the same. But the most interesting thing, you have removed the container, no doubt. Look at this. You have removed the container, but still, how are you able to access the files? You are able to access the files because before removing the container, you got the mount path. This is the mount path. Using docker inspect command, you need to take note of the mount path. Without taking a note of this mount path, you cannot access the data. So the mount path is actual physical memory, the actual hard drive location where the data is saved. The actual location where the data is saved is the mount path. Only when you take a note of the mount path, then only remove the container and access the data using the mount path. So mount path is most important. Taking a note of the mount path is more important. How can we get the mount path? By using a docker inspect command. By using docker inspect command. And we have experienced container is deleted, but still the data is permanent. This kind of volumes are called as simple volumes, simple docker volumes. Let us discuss about second type of volume, docker volume containers. Docker volume containers. They are also called as reusable volume. By looking at this reusable, you can understand, okay, the volume used by one container can be shared with other container. Let's say you have container 1, container 2, container 3. You have attached a volume to container 1. You have saved some data inside the volume. That volume you can share, that data you can share it to second container. That file you can share it to second container. Like this, you can reuse that volume to multiple containers. We'll see practically. Concept is the same. And finally, even you remove all the containers, but still the data is visible. That's the concept of volumes. That's the concept of volumes. Okay. Okay. Let's experience it. So let's experience it. We already have a directory slash data. We already have a directory slash data in the host. Do we have it? It is a folder called data. So we have it. Slash data refers to data is the name of the directory and the root is the path. It's already have it. Now what I'm doing? Understand this statement. Same like previous example. Same as the same example. Docker run CentOS. We know CentOS is a operating system creating container with an operating system. Name of the container is C1 interactive and attaching a volume. Okay. So when you run this, what will happen? Container gets created, control will enter into the container and volume will be attached to the container. Done. See, now I'm not in the Docker host, I entered into the container. ls will show you list of all the files which are there in the CentOS operating system. Under that, you can see your volume data. We already have seen it. I want to go to that particular volume. As of now, the volume is empty. So what I'm doing, I'm creating two files. What are the two files I'm creating? File 1 and file 2. Inside the volume, I'm creating file 1 and file 2. This is a container which I have created. What's the name of the container? C1. Attaching volumes. What are the volumes I'm attaching? So I have attached a volume and what files I have created? File 1 and file 2. We have created file 1 and file 2 inside the volume. Control to come out of the container without exit. One way to come out of the container by exit. The second way of coming out of the container by using control PQ. The difference is that when you exit, container will be stopped and control will come out of the container. If you don't want to stop the container, you want the container to run in the background and you want the control back to Docker host, go for control PQ. So now I'm back to my Docker host. Fine. So what I have done, I have created a container, name of the container is C1. I have attached a volume to that container. I have entered into that volume and I have created two files, file 1 and file 2. Step 1. Okay. Next step, look at this. I want to start another CentOS container. No problem. What's there? We can have a number of containers. Docker run. Docker run CentOS. Container gets created. Name of the container C2 interactive terminal. Control will enter into the container. I'm not using -v like in previous session, previous example. -v for attaching the volume. I'm not attaching the volume. -- volumes from C1. What does it mean? This is syntax to use a volume of C1 in the second container. A volume which is attached in the first container, you can use that same volume in the second container. So when you run this command, what happens? Container gets created. New volume will not be created. Existing volume which is attached to C1, the same volume is used to C2 because I'm using volume from C1. So I'm asking to use the same volume from C1 into the C2. So when you run this, let's experience what will happen. Container gets created. Control will enter into that container. What's the name of the container? Yes. Now, as I have entered into the container, you know there's a volume called data. I want to enter into the data. ls to see list of all the files inside the volume. Did you create any files in this second container C2? This is just freshly created. We have not created any files. But see, ls, are you able to see file 1 and file 2? Deva, are you able to see file 1 and file 2? Right now you are in second container. From the second container, you are able to see the files which we have created in the first container. That means both the containers are using same memory, common memory. Agree? It's not different volumes. It's the same volume which we are using it to second container. We are using it to second container. Next. Now I am already in the data folder. I create two more files. In the second container, I am creating two more files. F3 and F4. Created two more files. So total, how many files are there in the volume? F1, F2, F3, for total 4 files we have in the volume. So ls, find 4 files. 2 files are created from first container, 2 files are created from second container. Control PQ to come out of the container. Next, look at this one. Creating a third container, C3. Same CentOS operating system. Image is the same. Volume from C2. I'm not attaching a new volume. I'm using the volume from C2. So what happens? Container gets created. We are not attaching a new volume. We are using the volume from C2. Yes, container got created. Enter into the container ls. Can you see we have a volume data, cd data. How many files are there? Right now you're in which container? Third container. But are you able to see files which are created in the first container, files which are created in the second container? Yes. But that means all the three containers are using the same memory, same volume. That's why these are called as shareable volumes. That's why these are called as shareable volumes. Now I want to create two more files using the third container. Hmm? ls f1, f2, f3, f4, f5, f6, total 6 files. Yes, created two more files. Total, if you write ls, you will find 6 files. Yes. I want to come out of the container. Control PQ to come out of the container. Now total, how many containers are running in the background? C1, C2, C3. Right now my control is in the Docker host. I want to connect to C1. Can you connect to a container which is already running in the background? Yes, you can do that by using a command called docker attach. Docker attach is a command which helps you to connect to a particular container which is running on the. I want to connect to first container. There's docker attach. To any container which is running on the background by using docker attach, you can get connected. Now inside that container, we have a data folder, right? So inside the data, right now, can you see all the files which are there in the C1? Right now you are connected in C1. From C1, you are able to see the files of F2, F3, F4, F5, all the files you're able to see. What does that mean? This is a proof that all the containers are using common memory. Common memory. Exit to come back to my Docker host. I want to get the mount path. As you know, when you want to access the files, you can get the mount path by using Docker inspect. Yes, get the mount path. This is the mount path. Under mounts, you can see that. Take a note of the mount path. Very important. If you do not take a note of the mount path, you cannot access it. So, the actual location where the memory data is saved is in the mount path. So this is important. Take a note of the mount path. Okay. Next, what I'll do, I want to remove all the containers. C1, C2, C3, everything I want to remove. All the containers are removed. C1, C2, C3 are removed. Now I want to go to mount path. C2, this is our mount path, isn't it? Are you able to see F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6? Perfect. Perfect. So the concept of volumes is removing the container. After removing the containers, files should be accessible. Yes, you are able to access the files. Yes or no? So these kind of volumes are called as shareable volumes. So simple volumes, shareable volumes. Simple volumes are called as Docker volume. Simple Docker volumes, like shareable volumes are called as Docker volume containers. Clear? Clear about this? The concept of volumes. So whenever you create a container, it's good practice to attach a volume when you're creating the container, so that the development team, if they want, okay, they want some files to be saved, so we can instruct them, go to that particular data folder and save that particular files in that data folder. That's it. Okay, so that we can access those files. Clear about this? Perfect. So this is about the concept of volumes. This is about the concept of volumes. Next. Creating customized images. Creating customized images. What do you mean by customized images? So whenever you need a container, what you're doing, you're downloading the image. What image you are downloading? What are the image you are downloading from? Where you are downloading the image? We already know all the images are downloaded from hub.docker.com, isn't it? This is a location where the images are available. So all the images are available. So whenever you want CentOS, okay. This is the image. CentOS official image. Docker pull CentOS is a command. This is a standard image provided by CentOS organization. Can we create our own image and post it in Docker Hub? Yes, you can create customized images. You can create customized images. Okay, so I'm showing you how can we create customized images. Have a look at this. Look at this. And why should we create customized image? That's more important. Why should we create customized image? Look at the scenario. This is Docker host. Okay, you have created a container. Ubuntu container, CentOS, whatever it is, you have created a container. Now listen here. Whenever a container is deleted, all the softwares inside the container will also be deleted. Whatever your softwares you install inside the container, that's also will be deleted. Obviously, when you format your laptop, what will happen? All the softwares which you have installed in the laptop will also be removed. In the same way, when you delete a container, all the softwares which you have installed inside the container, they will also be deleted. If we can save the container as an image, then we can preserve the softwares. What does that mean? If you save the container as an image, for example, you have created one container. Let's say it's an Ubuntu container which you have created. In the Ubuntu container, you have installed software one Git, you have installed Maven, you have installed Tomcat, you have installed some other software, you have installed some 4 softwares, 5 softwares you have installed. With great difficulty, you have done a lot of hard work to install the softwares, and this is the desired state by the development team. Development team needs Ubuntu with Git, Maven, some X, Y, Z. So these are all softwares the development team wants. As per their development team requirements, you have created Ubuntu container 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 softwares you have installed it. You have done a lot of configurations also. Fine. Everything is fine. Now this is the perfect container with development team using it. They started using it. Now development team has used this container. Okay. Development team has used this container for a period of 10 days. So as per their requirement, you have created an Ubuntu container, you have installed some set of softwares as per the development team, and you have given it to the development team. Development team successfully used this container for 10 days and they have done some developmental activity. Now the development team don't need this container. They don't need this container. So development team says that, okay, thank you for providing the infrastructure to our DevOps team. So we don't need this infrastructure as of now. You can remove the container. But they can also say that, let's say for example, this particular status, this particular desired state, they may use it, they want this container maybe after 1 month. Now right now development team does not need this container, but maybe after 1 month they need the same container with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 softwares installed. I've installed it. Okay, so that means in future if you want to say if the development team needs the same container, Now, if you remove this again, what you have to do, if the development team again comes back and say that I want again the same container, so what you need to do again, you need to start from the scratch, create Ubuntu in the operating system, and then install 1, install 2, install 3, install 4, install 5 softwares. You need to do again the hard work and do some configurations within the softwares. Instead of that, what you can do, if you convert this particular container state as a, the status of this container, convert it as a image, convert it back to an image. So once the image is ready, now if a development team again comes back after 2 days saying that, okay, sorry boss, that same software which we have used 2 days back, I want the same status of content. So as you have converted it into an image, so what you can do, you can again run the image. When you run the image, as is, the container will be back. Agree? Same container will be back. Agree or not? Yes. So this is called as customized image. This image which you have created after converting, after performing a lot of installation process of container, you want to convert back to an image. This is an image which you are creating. That's why these are called as customized images. There is a need for customized images. So the need for customized images is preserving the softwares which you have created or installed inside the containers. Preserving the software inside the containers can be done by converting the status of the container into an image. That's why these are called as customized images. So concept of the need for customized images for preserving softwares. Volumes does not preserve software. Volumes preserve data. But if you want to preserve softwares, you want to preserve the configurations which you have done it on a container, convert it into an image. Convert it into an image. Clear? Clear about this? Any questions in understanding the need for creating customized images? Is this clear? The need for creating customized images. Okay, so let's proceed. So when we save the container as an image, we can preserve the softwares by creating customized doc. And this creating customized images can be done in 2 ways: by using Docker commit command, by using Docker file command, by using Docker file. We'll experience both the ways. How to create customized images using Docker commit. How can we create customized images using Docker file? We'll learn both the ways. First, to start with Docker commit. Let's experience this. What happens when you run this command? Please tell me. Ubuntu container gets created. Name of the container C1. Interactive terminal. Container gets created. Control will enter into the container. So let's do this first. This is Docker host. Created Ubuntu container. What's the name of the container? C1. What is the name of the container? C1. Right. Container gets created. Control enter into the container. Inside the container, right now my control is inside the container. Right now my control is inside the container. Fine. What I'm doing, I'm updating the apt repository. Next, installing Git in it. I'm installing one software, Git. apt-get install Git. Git is installed. Are you sure you want to install? Yes. Yes, Git is installed. I want to check whether Git is successfully installed or not. Why not? Git --version. Git is working. Exit to come out of the container, back to my Docker host. I have created an Ubuntu container with Git installed in it. A C1 container is an Ubuntu container with one software installed in it. I want to save the container as an image. Ubuntu container with Git software, I want to convert it into an image. Yes, you can do that by using docker commit command. Look at the command. Docker commit. Which container you want to convert? C1, name of the image. My Ubuntu, name of the C1 is the name of the container. What is the image name? Image name can be anything. You can write your name also. I want to name it as my Ubuntu. Docker commit which container, C1 container, converted into what image? My Ubuntu. So what will happen? The status of the container is converted into an image. What is the name of the image? Tell me. What is the name of the image? My Ubuntu is the name of the image. How to say list of images? Docker image ls. A lot of images. Go at the top, you get the latest image. Are you able to see my Ubuntu? Just 12 seconds back, it has been created. Once you have the image, what's there in it? I want to run my own image. Till now, we are running a standard images. Now I am running my own image. Docker run my Ubuntu. What is the name of the container? Creating a second container C2 interactive terminal. What happens when I run my image? One more container gets created. Am I right? From the customized image, creating a second container C2 interactive terminal. Now this container is already having Git. If you want, you can check it. You don't need to manually work it. Git hyphen hyphen. This is an image with this is the Ubuntu with Git, because my source container is also Git installed. That I have converted into image. Using this image, I have created one more container called C2. So even C2 is having Git installed. So whenever you use this customized image, that's nothing but Ubuntu with Git. Got it? Yes. So are you preserving the software? You are not doing again the same hard work of installing all the software. Assuming this is a container with 10 softwares installed, with doing a lot of configurations, convert it to the image. You want the same status, you can again rerun the image. What happens? The container is created in no time. Clear about this. You have successfully converted container into an image. That image which we have created is called as customized image. The concept of customized image is all about preserving the softwares. Is preserving the softwares. Am I right? This is a pre-installed. In the same way, you can work out with 10 softwares. All the softwares is readily available. Clear about this. So this is about customized containers. In two ways we can create customized containers. By using docker commit command, we have experienced. This is what I have planned for today's session. Today we have just learned about how to deal with volumes and how to create customized images. The second way of creating customized images, this more powerful way, that is called as docker file. In tomorrow's class, we'll see how to create docker file and using customized images, how to create customized images using docker file concept. Okay, by tomorrow we'll be completing docker, and then we'll be moving to docker swarm. The extension of docker is docker swarm. That's container orchestration that we'll be discussing in our tomorrow session. Clear? Any questions? Okay, so please practice this. Deal with make yourself comfortable with volumes and customized images. So tomorrow we'll see about the docker file concept. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Deba. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you, Tarun.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.